Can you imagine the boy kicking a ball barefoot is Pelé, the world Ballon d'Or king? In the eyes of people in disbelief, he plays soccer with a skill that should not be possible at this age. Stopping, dribbling, crossing. He crossed the defense and scored the ball. As a child, Pelé's family was poor. He used to shine shoes on the street to support his family. Playing soccer was the only way for him and his teammates to have fun. When they couldn't afford to buy a ball, they secretly made balls out of clothes hung out to dry. The complex alley became their soccer field. Pelé's soccer skills grew in these alleys. However, Pelé's mother did not support him to play soccer. His father was a soccer player when he was young. However, his father suffered a knee injury and became disabled. The year Brazil reached the final of the World Cup for the first time, everyone was full of expectations. But the miracle did not happen. Brazil lost. And the way his father cried deeply hurt Pelé's young heart. He came to his father and promised him,
"I win a World Cup for Brazil, I promise."
The town was hosting a soccer tournament. They didn't have a jersey, so they picked one up from a bed sheet. They didn't have shoes, so they went barefoot. But they made it all the way to the final where they played against the rich kids 5-6. Although they lost, Pelé managed to get spotted by a scout. The players tried to steal peanuts from the factory to sell them in order to wear the shoes for future matches. To escape from the workers, Pelé and his partner hid in a cave near the river. The cave was collapsed by a sudden downpour. He managed to escape, but his partner was buried in the earth. He felt that he had killed his partner and never wanted to touch soccer again, knowing that his son still loved soccer. His father brought him to the hospital to work with him, and taught him how to play soccer with mangoes instead of soccer balls in his spare time. His father's patience and encouragement helped him to regain his original spirit. He not only learned from his father the unique Brazilian renga skills, but also learned to forget about distractions and stick to himself. 5 years passed and Pelé grew up to be a big boy. His mother finally agreed to let Pelé pursue his dream of playing soccer and helped him find his first scout. And so Pelé joined the famous Santos soccer team in Brazil. He vowed to make a name for himself here. But he was wrong. The reality wasn't what he thought it would be. Who could have imagined that a man who had conquered 3 World Cups would be considered a trickster for his skills? Pelé, new to the team, was only allowed to play systematic European-style soccer. The coach thought his renga skills were useless. Suddenly, he couldn't kick a ball. He could even kick a normal penalty kick. Even though he worked hard every day, he didn't improve at all. With his head down, he was ready to give up. Just then the scout who was looking for him found him again.
So you can either show us what happens when you have the courage to embrace who we truly are.
The old man's words gave him great encouragement. In life, if you can't even do what you love most to achieve, what success is there to talk about? He finally found the man he once was. On the green field, he passed one defender after another with the ball. His nimble feet are like dancing elves. He leaps high in the face of a strong defense. In this moment, he was recognized by everyone with his actions. Even the coach gave him encouragement and cheered him on. He had no more worries. The whole green field became his personal show. In less than half a season, he went from the junior team to the youth team to the professional team and became the youngest scorer of the professional team. The name Pelé became famous from then on. He was soon selected for the Brazilian national team at the age of 16. His entry into the national team did not go well. Once again, his renga skills were not recognized. Everyone thought that they lost the 1950 World Cup because they used the renga technique. The coach would not allow a repeat. Not being able to play renga made him less determined. It was the moment of hesitation that caused him to suffer a serious knee injury. He became the opposite of everyone. The radio made his renga look like nothing, but the coach brought him to the World Cup with an injury. His family was happy to know that he was going to play internationally, but he was so nervous that he threw up a lot. The first time he stepped on the World Cup stage, he was shocked by the tens of thousands of people in the stands, and the crowd was full of abuse and ridicule, laughing at him for being so small and still playing football. The match began. His small stature was no match for the Soviet players. His lack of confidence made him muddle through the whole game, but a goal from a teammate gave them a hard-fought victory. In the semifinal they played against a much stronger French team. A confused Pelé continued to muddle through and make mistakes. At halftime, Pelé approached his teammate and asked him to replace him. His teammates encouraged him.
The Ginga was beautiful. That's what we need now.
Back on the field, he started to look different. At 17, Pelé was humiliated and ridiculed by the crowd, but he was determined. A steal right at the beginning of the game followed by a gorgeous pass. He didn't hesitate. He took the ball into the opponent's box like nobody's business. The crowd was in a frenzy as he faced the defense and fired a powerful shot into the air. The crowd couldn't believe that the little man had scored, and then he became the center of attention. He scored again. In just 20 minutes he scored a hat trick, leading a trailing Brazil team to defeat the mighty France. They made it to the finals, but no one expected Brazil to face the Nordic giants of Sweden. Even the coach himself couldn't think of a way to beat Sweden. Everyone's morale was low. In order to get everyone back in the spirit, Pelé suggested that we all turn the ball over to the lighthouse by the lake. It worked and everyone was motivated. They walked through the noisy kitchen to the hotel's restaurant and even the guests were amazed. When the coach saw all this he was deeply touched. He told everyone that from now on there would be no tactics and that they should play as their true selves. The World Cup final match between Brazil and the host Sweden. All the Brazilians sat around the TV expecting their hero to bring a miracle. But it didn't start well. Pelé was given special attention by the opponent due to his excellent performance. Only 4 minutes into the game, Sweden scored a goal. The Swedish fans started to rejoice. They were even celebrating the victory in advance. Just then Pelé looked up and saw a corner of the audience. His compatriots, with their faces full of helplessness. At that moment, Pelé's will to fight was rekindled. No one would look up to him unless he was strong. He started to show the world his renga skills, passing several people in a row with one man. The crowd was on its feet. And then he played with his teammates. Goal! The Brazilian fans start chanting. With Pelé, the Brazilian team woke up. No one can stop them from scoring. It's like their home field. The crowd was in shock. With the third and fourth goal, every Brazilian had tears in his eyes. And even the arrogant Europeans stood up and applauded. Finally, with Pelé's header, Brazil defeated the mighty Nordic giant. At the age of 17, Pelé led Brazil to its first World Cup title. This was the beginning of Pelé's era as a Ballon d'Or winner. He showed the world that success has nothing to do with age. He did not only rely on his own strength, but also had a strong belief. It was a belief that he would win and not give in to the world.